All right, so this is going to be a stream of me showing you guys how I, at Mr. Hobbs's Gamerhood, start a new campaign in Roll20. People have asked me this multiple times, what I do and how I do it and why. So that's what we're going to do. Basically, all I'm showing you is my Roll20 because I haven't figured out how to show maybe like some of the other tabs or where I get information from or any of those things. So I'm going to flip over to Roll20. All right, so this, I've just signed into Roll20, and this is the games that I'm in. So you can see if you go to games and you went to my games, this is what would show up. So yeah, I have a lot of games here. These aren't all my games, but I've created a ton of these. You can see that they go way, way, way back. Hey, Eric Thomas Hunt, man. Welcome, buddy. Good to see you, brother. No game going on, I guess, but maybe you'll like what I'm doing. I'm just talking about what I do in Roll20. So, like I said, these are all a ton of games here, and I have many of them. But I've signed up to run a game in virtual GaryCon coming up in a couple weeks, and I might run a couple. The first one's already full, but if people are interested, find all you have to do is go to tabletop events, find virtual GaryCon, and you can see what I'm doing or what the game is. It's going to be low fantasy gaming, but maybe we're getting ahead of ourselves. I'm getting it out of from one of the products by Steve Grodzicki in Pickpocket Press and Low Fantasy. Hey, what do you think of my backdrop, guys? Sweet, eh? Anyway, so all I'm going to do is there's a button right here, create new game. All right, so they're going to start it. They want to know if you have any game tags or what the game name is, first of all. So I'm just going to call this White Stone Tower because that's what it's called. We'll put Gamerhood, low, low fantasy. What the heck? Low, low fantasy gaming, LFG. All right, so I want to choose a character sheet, and I always check to see if they have one, and if they do, then I just use it. This thing looks pretty sweet, actually. This is an awesome sheet by one of the Gamerhood people, Brent. I don't know what his last name is. Maybe if he was around, he would tell us, or maybe if you remember Eric Thomas Hunt, that would be sweet. But it's Brent Weeks, maybe. I don't know. Anyhow, he did the sheet, and it's great. So we're going to use this sheet. So now we have the name, some tags, the sheet we're going to do, and all we have to do is I'm ready, create game. All right, so here we go. This is like the splash page of the game. There is no low fantasy gaming in here. I've already tried, so I can't do anything there. I don't need to add any decks or maps or adventures or anything at this point. I don't need to do looking for players or change the settings, but what I do need to do is choose a file. So what I've done is I have the PDF of Whitestone Tower by Steve Grodzicki, and I took an image out of it. Now I'm not very good at everything, but I usually try to figure out a workaround to get around things. And so this is the image that's in the PDF of the tower itself. So all I've done is added it to that. So it looks pretty nice, I think. I don't even know how often people are going to see it. It depends how they jump into the game. If they go straight through the link or if they are going to come into their Roll20 and then launch the game like this. If you don't ever have anything on that splash page, then there's no reason to do it. All right, so I always use a different program for audio and video. So I don't use the audio and video for Roll20. So to change that so the camera isn't showing down here, all I do is go up to the gear here, head down on here to the regular size, to the size of the video. So I want the person's name, but I don't want the video to be there because I'm not going to get it from them or from me. So I just go to names only. And then there's no reason to broadcast those things. So I'm just going to disable them. and then I am going to reconnect. All right, and now those things are done there. So this is what it looks like. So you just have, this is your first map or your first page or whatever, and all those pages can be found here in the page toolbar. You can open and shut this. Now, what I usually like to do is I don't like these big white grids and with the pale gray squares. So what I'll always do is I'll actually go into the page settings, and that's going to affect the one that I'm on. Now, this is the player's flag. This banner can be on a different page than you're on because you're the GM. But as a player, they can only be on wherever the players is. They won't even see that, but the GM controls that. So one of the first things I like to do is add a splash page for the actual campaign. So this is where we'll talk about things, and when the game first starts, this is where people hang out. I usually run a West Marches game, but this isn't a West Marches game. This is going to be a con game, and I'm going to run some play tests, and that's all this campaign is going to be for, as far as I know at this point. So the first thing I'll do is change the background, and I can just click in this white box and change the color. I usually like to go black, and then I usually change the grid lines to green, and then I'll make them super dark for right now. I might change that later, and this is what I do on almost every sheet that I set up. So then it's going to look like this, and now I can zoom in or out with this bar over here, and this is where the chat is. And if you want to invite someone to your game, here's where the link is. So this is what Roll20 looks like when you first start a campaign, and these are your main buttons to do things over here. So this is like where your premium assets would be if you were going to build something, but this is just going to be a splash page. So what I think I'm going to make this look like is my buddy Steve Gradzicki is a sponsor of my channel, so I'm going to put a splash page that looks like his stuff. So I'm going to zip through my area here and see. I was going to put all these images up, but then I was like, oh, maybe I won't do that because maybe you guys would want to see what it looks like when I just go through everything. But I didn't figure out how to show my laptop screen, so you're just looking at my monitor where I have this. Hey, Trevlin Hart, this is actually a con game for Gary Con, the virtual Gary Con that I'm making. And since I had to make it anyway, I thought I would just make a video and share it with my Twitch people. So this is a con game called Whitestone Tower for low fantasy gaming. And if you plan on playtesting this, maybe you don't want to watch, but it's not going to matter really, probably. So anyway, we need something for the splash page here for people to jump into. So what do we think? Oops. What about this? So black probably wasn't the best thing, but maybe this will be a good one. So here's the Pickpocket Press logo. I don't have this one. I should have done this one right here because that would be a cool splash page too. All right, so basically I just dragged and dropped. This is a PNG. You can do JPEGs. You can do all TIFFs, GIFs, all sorts of things. And is it GIF or GIF, guys? What do you think? I don't know. But anyhow, you can just drop it in here, and then you can change its dimensions. So it's going to slightly adjust because right now we're on the token layer. When they talk about multiple layers, these are the layers here. It's this second button. So the map layer, objects and tokens, the GM layer, and then dynamic lighting. So if you're not a plus or pro user, you're not going to have dynamic lighting. But as a splash page, none of that's really going to matter. Now, I usually like to size everything in the token layer. And the reason for that is because it kind of seems to adjust things a little better. But if you do it in the like in the map layer, sometimes you'll have some issues. So you see these boxes here, you can adjust these just like almost any application these days, or you can just click on it and drag it or pan it around. There's some other ways to do it in Roll20 right now, but this is what I use. So I don't know. All right, you can see that it's not as big as it could be. You see there's like a little kind of a weird bug where you can see it looks like it's not full all the way, but if you go over there, it is. So don't worry about it. Just do, you can always zoom it back farther and see what it's going to look like. So it is, this is obviously longer than it is wide. Now I could stretch it out, but that looks kind of dumb. So I'll try to keep it, and this doesn't lock like a lot of other, like a lot of other things would. You can count down here if you want to see where you want to put it. But I know this is like 25 by 25 squares right now. Now I'm not going to, I'll keep the grid and I'll show you why later, but I'll keep the grid. But another thing to see is you can get rid of this extra space if you want to. So you could count it off and then you would just go back up here and change it by the width here, because you can do it by pixel or you can do it by grids. So we'll keep it 25, but it doesn't need to be that tall. So I'm sure there's a smarter way to do it, but I just kind of play with it until it fits. Now it will go over top. So that looks pretty good, I think. So this is all the screen that anyone showing up on here will see. Now, if I want to see the grid lines now, I can just change this, the layer of this image. Like I'll put the map layer and now the grid lines are showing over top of it. But I don't really, this is just like for the tokens and the splash page for people to show up. So I don't necessarily want the grid line showing, but I still want the tokens to be sized for other pages. So I'm going to go back into the page settings, and then I can just leave the color the same, but then just change the opacity of those grid lines, and now they're gone, so you don't have to worry about them. So now we've created our first page, and this is the splash page, I like to call it, where the players will show up, and like you won't want to have just one of your maps open. You want a place just to keep all the tokens and have players come into that aren't going to affect the campaign later. So cool, now that's done. So what do we want to have available for this? Well, I'm going to need a map. So let's get a map, and let's get a place to place the map. So I'm going to go back up here into this area, which is your page toolbar, create another page, and then we'll check out the page settings. Like I say, I always just change it to black because that's what I find the easiest to work on. Change this to bright green so I can see the grid, and then go from there. So you can actually change what these grid cells are. You can change this from a square into a hex. It can be either vertical or horizontal. You can change the sizes of the thing. You can do all sorts of crazy things with this. Down here is like the dynamic lighting. But like right now, I like to be simple when I first start with something, so I don't mess with that stuff too much. I usually just change the background and the color, and then that's it. So one of the maps I wanted to use is in for the Whitestone Tower is the area map around the tower. So whenever I felt like whenever I pulled this, if I just try to pull it straight out of the PDF, it looks a little janky. So what I've been doing is this is how ridiculous I do things sometimes. It since I can't seem to pull it off the way I would like to, I'll take a screen print of the whole thing, go into Paint, paste the screen print in, and then go to the select tool in Paint, and then just select the map that I want. All right, and then I'll crop it to that, and then just save it. All right, it's done. All right, so as you can see, the players are here, and I'm still here. I can still, this is the page that I'm on. If I want to change pages, I just click in that page and now I'm there. But if you go up in the page toolbar, any players that happen to show up, if you'd given their link and you're still working on another page while they're starting to show up, which happens to me all the time because I never seem quite prepped as much as I'd like to be, they're only going to see that page. They're not going to see this page unless you pull them over to it. All right, so here we are in this page. Now, this is just the way it looks, no different. And now I'll go into where I've saved this image from my awesome job of cropping it out of the PDF with Paint. But I forgot where I put it. Oh yeah, we should keep this open probably. All right, here we go. The area map. All right, awesome. So same thing. I can just pull it in here and bring it to whatever dimensions that I want. So once again, this is a little longer, or a little taller height-wise than it is wide. So now this looks like it might be kind of hard to see, but when you actually get in here, you can close up to this pretty far. So this is a pretty large map, and in the PDF, it doesn't have a scale on it, but it's pretty significant because this A over here, so like if you want to ping something, they call it pinging. If you hold the left cursor down, it'll show where it is. Now another cool trick is if you want to center a certain area, if you hold shift and left down, it'll actually center that area, and that'll center it for anyone who's looking. So like if you're trying to show a if you're trying to show the players where they are on this big map, and you have Fog of War on and they can't see, all they see is a big black area because you have the barrel maze in here, or you put Undermountain in your Roll20 and you want to bring them to a place, you can just ping them like, all right, you guys are over here by B. So I'll just like draw it right over. So I'm going to leave this extra area in case I want to bring other dudes in here and drop off tokens and put them in a place where they can't see it, because I could change this or use dynamic lighting to block off one area from the other. I guess I should turn on back so I can see what people are saying. Hey, Craig Brasco, welcome to the chat, man. Welcome to the old Twitch channel. So, you know what, I should type in here so people can see what I'm doing. I'm making a new campaign in Roll20 for virtual. Oh, this probably won't last, will it? Anyway, this is what I'm doing. I'm making a new campaign in Roll20 for my virtual GaryCon event called Whitestone Tower. All right, so as you can see, if I'm going to use this player map, do I really want them to see these letters in this instance? I'm not sure it matters, you know, if their goal is to find Whitestone Tower, and I'm not, unless I was going to use Fog of War or something on this, it doesn't seem that easy. It doesn't seem like a real hex crawl type of map. If it was, you know, when I wanted to get rid of this C or something, well, there's not really a good way in Roll20 to do that. I would actually have to change, I would have to affect this map somewhere else, because anything on the map I can't really take off. I can add things on different layers, but I can't really remove something like that unless maybe I was going to take, like if you just brought in like a blank white token or another small picture and put it on here, you could do that. But in this, I mean, I don't really know if I need to. Maybe it would be cooler. So dang it, what if I did need to take that off? All right, well then I would just roll back into Paint. You guys can't really see what I'm doing, so you're just going to have to talk amongst yourselves. Oh, goodness. I'm going to zoom in, and it's not going to look that good when you zoom in, but it doesn't matter because it's mostly going to be taken out distance-wise anyway there. So it's cool that Craig Brasco's in the chat. He used to play in my Lost in Agata game. He's played in many Kalmata games. So if you want to see what a great player Craig Brasco is and what a funny dude, you could watch any of those videos on my YouTube channel. All right, so all I'm doing is taking this map in paint and erasing the letters. So obviously I'm just going to resave it. Oh, but now I want to get rid of this map. Well, you know how hard it is to get rid of a map? I just click on it and, oops, not copy. Sheesh, that's not the right thing. Delete. So it's gone. All right, so let's bring the new area map in, the new and improved area map. All right, so we're just going to resize it quickly here. And you can see those letters are already gone, which is pretty cool. So I don't know if most of you guys probably watch my Twitch channel quite a bit. And well, thanks, man. Thanks, Craig. I appreciate that, sir. And you notice I don't usually use maps that look like this. My maps are normally look quite a bit different. So maybe we should make a map like that. So let's get rid of this again. And it's probably going to be a little bigger. But you know, at the same time, you wonder, does it need to be? Because that A on there, dang it, maybe I should put this back up. I didn't really plan this, and I've never done one of these before. I'm just babbling as I go. So on this map, this is a pretty big area. I don't know exactly what it would be, because in the book, this is where the tower is, and this tower is a decent size, you know, easily 80 or 100 feet in diameter. And so what would that make this? If this was 100 feet, so this is probably about 3 or 4 times, that would make this area 300 feet, right? And so just from here to the edge of the road, if it's 15, so it's twice that, so it's 600 feet there. That would be a huge map, and I'm not sure we would need all that on a map, but we could break it up into different like zones, like the scenes that you're actually going to use. So that's a cool thing. So maybe we could do that. So what I'm going to do is I'll just make a map of that area, so I know that there is a village of barbarians camped out here that are under the sway of the lord of this tower, and they camp out here, and then they try to do things that they think the controlling creature of this tower would want. So we could just make their village if we wanted to. Like, I hadn't really intended to do that, but yeah, let's do that. That sounds cool. And I don't really know if I'll need it in a game, and I wouldn't say that you should make a bunch of maps that you don't know if you'll need in a game, because how much time do you have? This, I have an inordinate amount of time. I'm not play testing scheduled to test this until Saturday at 5 p.m. I think. Now, if I was working, I wouldn't have a ton of time, because I'm playing a game tonight, playing a game tomorrow, playing a game the next day, and I wouldn't have a ton of time. So I might just use this map and only make scenes of the integral things that I think, or make them on the fly, which I do sometimes. So we're gonna make this. We're gonna make this map area over here, right here, where the players may show up. This might be cool as a hex map, though, because if we wanted to, we could decide something else. But maybe you guys would like to see me how I make one of those, because that's probably more interesting than watching me play with paint. All right, so I have a crazy amount of assets that I've purchased. The majority of them are from Gabriel Picard. So if you don't know how to, so this is another cool thing. This is going to save everything automatically. There's not a save button because it's browser based, I guess. I don't know enough about how computers work and that sort of thing. But if we want to back out of here and check out something, we can just like back out of here. I've never not had it save anything, and now I can go into the marketplace, browse, and My guy is Gabriel Picard, by far. I love his maps. So you can just type in his name, and now his maps are just going to show up. And he's got a metric poop ton. So how many are on this screen? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 24, and there are 13 of them. So I don't know how many that is, but it's a lot. So over 240, around about two. Yeah, I'm not good at this math, I guess. Anyway, there's a bunch, and I have a lot of them. So, and he even has like dynamically lit maps now that you can get. I personally didn't like him that much, but he has a lot of other cool things. Looks like all of it new ones are mostly dynamic lit, but you can also sort by his newest. So, like if you're like me and you're always studying what Gabriel Picard has to offer on Roll20, you sort by the newest. But if you wanted to do by prices, most of them are going to be $4.99, $5.99. That's pretty, and that may seem sort of expensive, but like I'm not going to go to a ruins. So you can also search in this. So if I know that I have a game that's going outside in the woods, like the game that we're doing right now, I could type woods, I could type forest, and then it's just going to, oh, dang it. I thought it would hold just his stuff. See, we're learning stuff all the time. So you can see it's no longer holding the Gabriel Picard that I had in there anymore. And now it's sorting by relevance. And here is Ancient Forest. So let's look to see what Ancient Forest looks like. So I don't own this one, because if you did, it would show that you have it. So it's got 36 critical items, or 36 items and critical trails. So this is what he's calling this. He's got like critical encounters, vile tiles. He's got all sorts of different ones. But this particular one is called Critical Trails, Ancient Forest. And so he's got different pieces that you can move around. He's got like a blank map, and you can just click on these and see what they kind of look like. So this is like this is already made for you, and it's 30 by 30, and it shows you that right there. So you can just see what he's got going on. Here's some more that he's made. So what you could do is you could increase the size of your map to be 60 by 60, and then place some of these next to each other. And some of them look like they would probably, he's got actually a 4 by 4 one. So you can see he's got east and west. So this would actually be 2 by 2. He's got a canyon with like a log going over top of it. Cool stuff. And then you could also add these pieces. You can see that they are they have transparency on them, so you can make your own ancient forest if you want to. All right, so let's get back to my game. I could go that way, I guess. I could have went through games, whatever. Where's my games? Oh, in my games. Oh, there it is right here, Whitestone Tower. All right, let's launch this bad boy. All right, so let's go back and look at, here's, this is the premium assets. This is also my library. If I wanted to draw stuff in from something I've already done, I could just go down here and grab it. So like I know that I have another campaign in the Midlands. So if I wanted to have a map in the Midlands, I could just find that map from here without drawing it in again, because it's already on here. So it might be a little quicker. But I have no idea where it is. I could probably even search for it. Here it is. So I could just drag this bad boy in here. And I'm sure there's easier ways to do everything. This is a beautiful map that was made for the Midlands. So it's pretty bad. Bad ace. It's actually a hex map. You can see that there's really light hexes in there, which is pretty darn cool. And it's beautiful. So this campaign, or this takes place in the Sunstone Ranges near the town of Vorngard. So pretty darn cool. But I digress. So these are just, like I said, this is my library. Now, here are the marketplace purchases again that I have. Pretty massive. So what was I doing? Oh yeah, I was gonna make a village of 20 to 40, I think is what it is. Let me look again. I have it on this book here. Here we go. Whitestone Tower. Area A. 3D4 plus 10. So what the heck is that? That would be 13 to 34 barbarians known as the Gray Star Tribe camp near the bridge, keeping watch on behalf of their master. So we should probably have a river with a bridge. So I'm going to look through. All these quick encounters are by Gabriel Picard, and yes, they all cost $4.99. This is what I do with a lot of the money that I get from Twitch or my Patreon, is buy these things because I feel like they look beautiful and they're immersive to me. The maps are beautiful and fun to move around on. So yeah, I got Mushroom Forest, Overland Ruins. I don't really see any ruins in that area, so I could pick Forest Pack. I could look to see what I have in Forest Pack, and then you can just kind of zip around these and look to see what fits and what you want it to be. That looks pretty cool, but I mean, do we want a waterfall there? There's not a waterfall on this map, but if we don't even show this map, who cares? It doesn't matter. But this is an older one, and it doesn't necessarily fit in with some of my others. So I'm going to probably go for a newer one that I like. So you saw I had some forests, some pines. Um, but if we go down here farther in the Vile Tiles, I have some cool stuff called Forest Mapper. So this is basically, I don't even know how many pieces are in here, but it's a lot. You can see me just scrolling through them. They're crazy. But what I want to make sure I have is a river in there. But see, this has a path. There's some paths on here that I'm going to want. But it takes a long time to build the map by scratch like this, in my opinion. So I usually prefer not to do it that way. So what I would really like to do is find another map that's going to give us a head start on what we're working for, and then we can pop into this other one and add it, because you can add maps together. You can take pieces from different ones and add them to different things. So this is a really cool aspect. People ask me how I get all my maps, and most of the time this is what I do. I actually make them in Roll20, and if I want to use them for something else, I end up taking them back out of Roll20, which I'm not necessarily that good at. So I was positive I had a bunch more, like forest or rivers. But I don't really see any here. Dang it, maybe we should buy something. You guys want to buy something? Maybe my credit card will show up. I was pretty sure I had a rivers, but I don't see it. Help me out here, Brasco. You see it? Am I missing it? What's this? Generic forest maps. So we could use this if we wanted, and spruce it up a little bit, church it up some. But it's not what I'm looking for. I'm trying to like wow some people on the stream and at the virtual GaryCon. So yeah, I almost got too much Brasco, but of course it's never enough. You really want to end up buying more. So there's no caves or anything like that. So you can see all these are save versus caves, which you can link all these caves together. Some of them work a little better than others. I don't even know what the side quest battle map is. Let's check this out. I don't remember buying this. Here's a bridge, but that's a stone bridge. This looks kind of like it could be a stone bridge, I guess. There's a bunch of buildings on here. That's pretty cool. Some windows. Oh, there's some paths. No wonder I bought this thing. This is badass. Some plants, rocks. Ooh, what's this? There's a rock group. That looks cool. That almost. Oh, what's this? A smiley face. That's weird. All right. Looks like Mr. Picard is getting a little crazy on us. All right. Ooh, here's a sample river with a couple bridges. I think this might work. It's only a 25 by 25, and I usually like to I usually like to have them maybe a little bigger than that, because that's really not that big to fit like a bunch of huts and stuff in, is it? I don't know what else they got down here. We could almost do anything. Let's just do that. So I only wanted to make this about an hour long, and I could sit here all day and look through these, which is sometimes what I do. All right, so we're dropping this on here. So this is just one square on this map. And we know this is a 25 by 25. So let's zoom out a little bit, boys and girls. And we already know this is 25 by 25 because that's what the settings were in there. So we're going to pop this out. Now we could fill it up all the way right now if we wanted, but is this the way that we want it to look? I don't think so, because we can actually use this little button here to turn her around. What do we think about that? And I wonder why this area has so many stone bridges. Hey, Thaddeus, welcome to the chat room, man. It's cool. I got like a lot of cool dudes in here. So yeah, you guys are getting to look into how I make a campaign and how much time can I waste trying to figure out which starting map to use. So this still isn't perfect. So what I think I'm going to do is turn this back the other way, because I still want to get back to that other map that I showed you previously, and it doesn't have a twist like this, but this could just be down farther on the map. So let's make the map bigger, and I want it to be taller, so I'm just going to change this to 50, and that's just going to increase the size of my workspace here. And I think I'm going to put this on the bottom, actually. Oh, you know what I should do? I'm going to give you guys a handout, so it'll be popped up on the side so you can see what I'm going to do. So we interrupt this map making moment to bop back to the journal, where you can add things that you want to add. So what I want to do is I'm going to add a handout that's going to be that map. So all I'm going to do is call it area map. You can put it in whatever players' journals you want to, but I don't have any players but me in here, and I don't want it to maybe be visible right away. Maybe we'll save it for later. I don't want them to be able to edit it, so I'm not going to do that, and I don't want to do anything else. So just like adding a map, I can add this area map, make it a handout, just drag and drop it, and now it's in here as a handout. So if you wanted to, you could add descriptions and notes here, or GM notes that wouldn't be visible to the players. Even when you show it to them, it still wouldn't be visible to them. Or you could add it right in here, which I don't know, it's just not something that I've done very often. So I can save that, and then we can just have it sitting here while we're kind of working, because this is what we're going to try to make. I can pop it up and make it a little bigger. We're trying to make this area here where these I'm going to make a village of these barbarians. So that's a thing that we can do in the handouts. So that's pretty sweet. While we're over here, I wanted to make some character sheets for the players. They're going to be pre-gens, but I still have to make them. And so to make a character, you see how I have the character available now? I'm just adding a character, and we can just say whatever this character is going to be. So maybe we're going to have, we can check out what the types of characters are in this. So this is going to be available to all the players. and all the players can edit and control it. You can change that later at any time, just when you pop it open. And then we can add a picture for this guy. So if I wanted to search the web for a picture of a rogue, like I'll do D&D rogue in the old Googles, switch it to images, which is kind of bad because maybe we shouldn't do it that way because I don't own it. I don't know. I don't know for sure what exactly the rules are as far as that goes. I was thinking about buying some character art and getting that to be what I would just use for all my games, and people would have to choose from those icons, but maybe it would get boring. I don't know. I don't know. I think it's a human male. So this guy looks good. So I found an image. I'm going to save it into my folder for this game. Hopefully y'all know how to do that. What I should do is show you how I do make a tokens too, because a lot of people would like to know how to do that probably. Maybe later. We're already 39 minutes in and we haven't hardly got crapola done on our map, people. Time is a wasting. All right, so I'm putting this rogue in here. Rogue, rogue, rogue. All right, so I've just dropped the image in here. And so now you can see over here that that image is there and available as well to see. Now, if we wanted to make a rogue token, I'd have to open up my token tool. I'm just going to save it right now. We'll pop it over because I want you to see what this sheet looks like. So this sheet is pretty awesome. It has all these things. All of these attributes are rollable here, and they're set up because this is an attribute-based game. Roll under, where this is a great success and total failure. So if your stat, 10 is like 1.5 times, and great success is, so if it's that much lower than half lower, it's better, but if it's 1.5 times higher, it's a total failure. And then you have advantage, so you can roll 2 dice, or not, or disadvantage, so you have disadvantage, nothing, or advantage, you roll it and then it pops over in the screen. So pretty dang cool. So let's get our token back over here. So I'm making it right now in the token tool. So there's the full visual of him. And now I'm going to save it as a token. I do this stuff for all of my games, and I have a literal ton of them. I just like it. Some people are more theater of the mind, and they don't have to do any of this work, but I don't really think all of them are streaming either. So maybe they are. I don't know. So now I've made a rogue token. I'm just going to drop it on this screen over here. I don't want to drop it on this screen on the character sheet because that doesn't work. But as soon as I put it over here, I can select it, and then you have all the token things you can do. But then I can just also add it to this sheet, and now this token is permanently connected to this sheet, and so that's a pretty cool thing. And I don't really know what this sheet does. Like maybe the hit points might be attached to it or something. I don't know. But now I don't want this token on this map because they don't belong here yet, right? So now I'm just going to copy it, go to the splash page, and here he is on the splash page. So that's pretty cool. Here's some quick token 101 information. I've already made the token. I didn't show you how to make it, but now that I've dropped it on the screen, I can interact with it with Roll20. So you can either leave it like a generic token, or it doesn't represent any character, or you can pick a character sheet and connect to it this way. I want the nameplate to show. I want the name to show. So these bars, you can set them up to be health, luck points, treasure, armor class, whatever. You can also add notes here that are not, are going to be connected to the token now. Or we can go into the advanced stage. So I usually use dynamic lighting, so I'm just going to drop has sight on there right now. And these are the player permissions, what they can see and what they can edit. So I'm just going to make all 3 of these available, and then I'm going to save the changes. And there you go. Now you can see that the name is small. There's Rogue. And this is what you can, these are like statuses that you can add to the token when you're playing, which you'll see me do on the stream quite a bit. There you go. There is a token. So back to our map. Like I said, you can just switch back and forth and everything is pretty much saved in here, which to me is a great feature of Roll20. There's a lot of people that don't like Roll20, but I do. I kind of love it. I have been a member or a plus user of Roll20 since before it started because I was part of Tabletop Forge. All right, so we're on the token layer still. Now, if this is where we want the map to be, we're pretty sure of that. We can just right click it, change the layer of it, pop it into the map layer, and now we can see how big the tokens would be on here. So that's pretty sweet. All right, let's look at our map here. How does this fit to what we're looking for in the area map? So we have quite a bit of space on here. It's not perfect, but we're kind of like going here, and this lower part would be coming off to this side. Yeah, it's angled a little bit. We could do that if we wanted to, but then we're going to have to try and match the map, and that's not something I necessarily like to do. Our players are just going to have to be happy with what they get. But now we need to kind of add this area up here to the top of the map. I'm assuming that the players are going to be coming from this direction over here as far as this map goes. I should see if anyone's talking in the old chatty room. I don't know if anyone is watching other than you, and it says there's 3 people in chat, but it's hard to tell. I total geek the first, but he hasn't said anything, so I'm not supposed to call him out. I believe that is Arlen Walker, also another Hobbs loyal boy. I believe those are Hobbs goblins, sir. All right, so now we got to figure out what we're going to do on this other map. But one of the cool things that I should show you right now is if I'm working on, say I say cool a lot because I really love this application. So like if we have this opened up now, and if I want to add some rocks, or let's see, there's a pile of rocks right there. Let's put another pile of rocks on here. I just drop it on there. If I want it to be a bigger pile of rocks, I just make it bigger. I can spin it around. I can make it whatever I want. So right now it's locked to the grid, but all you have to do is hold down Alt key and you can make it be wherever you want. So you don't have to lock it to the grid if you don't want to, but you're going to want the characters mostly to be locked to grid. But you can hold the Alt key, but they can also get out of that if they want to by holding the Alt key as well. So otherwise this guy's going to pop to the grid, right? But I don't want him to be on the grid. I want him to be like this. You just hold the Alt key. Pretty sweet, eh? All right, so now I have these rocks. The rocks are still on the token layer because that's the layer I'm on. But what if I forget like what layer I'm on and I'm on the map layer? See how in the token layer they're just kind of faded? But let's say I'm not paying attention and I want to add this and I put it here on the map layer, and then when I'm trying to move it around I mess up and actually move the map. Oh my god, I moved the whole map. Everything's ruined. Which is even bigger when you start getting into dynamic lighting. Thaddeus Moore, am I supposed to call you out? Call outie? I don't know. Anyway, all you have to do is hit Control Z, and it just pops it back to where it was. I don't know how far you can do Control Z. Now it's moving that. Look at this. This thing is crazy. I'm Control Zing all over the place. It's like an undo. All right, so even though this is still shit. Oh, see, I accidentally moved the map again. God dang it. Control Z. Nice. I didn't want this here anyway. Delete. All right, let's go back to the tokens. All right, here we are. You can also, if you feel like you want a bigger view, just spread this boy out, back it out a little bit. What are we going to do? So now we need a 25 by 25 map up here. So since I got this out of something specific, but I don't know what because I forgot. We got to find something to fit into this. The more you stay in the same, I'm in the nature builder. All right, so let's figure out what we're going to do here, guys. All right, we could add a lake. That would be a little weird attached to that river. So there's no other rivers in here. So now we're going to have to do something else. So which do you guys think it is? It looks like sparse grass with some dirt or sparse grass. We could do either of these. We could do straight grass, but that looks a little brighter. This is a little darker. So I definitely think the base we want is one of these two. So I'm just going to drop this base on here. Spread her out quick. And this looks bigger than 25 by 25, doesn't it? Something's going on. Maybe not. Look at this. Oh no, it's fantastic. All right, so here we go. But now we have this thing. Now this isn't going to change. Let's just put it right in the map layer. Now this isn't going to change, so but we're going to have to add a river, right? We're going to have some woods. We want to make this look as clean as possible. Sometimes I do a good job of it. Sometimes I don't. A lot of it's going to depend on how much time you have. So, but we need a river. Do we got any rivers in here? Usually these things are alphabetical order. I thought he did have a river. No, there's a path. We could add a path if we wanted to. Some cliffs. But let's not forget what we're trying to do. We are trying to recreate. Oh, here. Oh, look at this. We got some rivers. We got rivers. These are happy rivers. Yes, I should do my Ross impression, shouldn't I? All right, 4x8. That looks like it's a slightly different size, but I don't think it matters. I think we have what we need to complete our river here, people. So let's just grab one of these rivers. That looks a little squiggly. Ooh, look at that one. That one's crazy. But he already used that one. Look at that. That is the same one that he used right there. So it's like he's already done these himself, which is pretty darn cool too. All right, not a special river. We don't want that. We don't really want a junction going into the area. So let's put this. Let's go for a junction. Let's see what it looks like. Oh, where'd it go? Shit, I don't know. Sometimes it does that. I don't know if I just didn't do it well enough when I put it out. I usually blame myself for everything, you'll notice. All right, here we go. All right, this has got to be bigger than that, boys. All right, let's see if this links up down here. All right, so it told us what this size. So these sizes, you don't have to go by them if you don't want to. But if you do, then the stuff will probably match up better. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. So maybe, is it 7 this way? No, that's too big. It's supposed to be 6 by 7. So let's go vertical. Oh yeah, it's still not matching up that well, but I already showed you the secret. Alt key. Look at that. Dang, now that does look pretty good. All right. You're watching Bob Ross at the same time you're watching me, Brasco? Nice. Which one is smoother? All right. So that looks pretty good. I mean, it's like almost looks perfect. We might get a little closer. You could get as tight as you want, but oh my gosh. And you can tweak it a little bit, but usually you're not at this level of messing with stuff. Looks like this is actually a little wider going this way because it's hidden there by the. Yeah, I think we're perfect there, boys. All right, so we got a bush there. So let's find some bushes to finish that off. Oh no, where's all the bushes? Oh, he's called them plants. Oh, this looks like the plant right here. All right, here it is. All right, so I can take this plant. Oh, we should add this. See, we want to put this layer on the map layer because we're pretty happy with the river right there. River runs through it. Let's largen this thing. Let's kind of zip it around and make it look fairly similar to that. Now it could be a slightly different color right now, and that's okay because it's on the map layer anyway. So I can just like drop this on here. It's going to kind of meld right in and blend that off. You see what I'm saying, guys? Looks pretty darn good. Now we just put it in the map layer, and look at that. It's just like overhanging right there. That bush is beautiful. All right, now let's work on this tree here. This looks like a tree or a plant or something. Now I'm just zipping through here trying to find one of these similar plants. And we don't have to use the same one. I could go to a whole different grouping, but this one is made for it, so I think these will look pretty nice together. Yeah, I think we're there. One of these trees is the monster. So we could actually drop the shadow in there. See how these has shadows? I don't usually get too particular about keeping the light in the same spot. You certainly could. I think it would probably enhance your game. But I don't think any game was ever less fun because of the shadow of the trees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 by 5. We can just drop it right on top of here. And it's pretty much, if you didn't know ahead of time, it looks like it's a little bigger, so I could just do this. And now if we don't think it's perfect, we could just copy this, paste it, drop it right on here, and now we have another tree kind of right next to it. And there's just kind of a bushy area here, and it's going to also block off what's going on. So you see what I'm saying? It doesn't, the shadows are here, these trees. It's almost invisible that we have added another map onto this. So I'm going to pop this tree into the map layer, pop this tree into the map layer, and there we go. Look at that. Looks great. So that rock, we didn't even have to fix that anymore because it's covered up by this tree. So let's add a rock underneath this. Let's finish off this rock. Or if we didn't feel like doing that, we could just pop another tree on there. Boom. Map layer. All right, there you go. Now that tree is just covering up that rock, and it looks fantabulous. All right, we're nearing the edge of the map. We have a little more play here, but it looks like there's a tree on top of this large kind of butte, or just like a promontory above the other spot. So I always just make up however the size is, but you can get up, you can't even get up to that area. So I mean, it's not going to be, if you want the player characters to be able to move up there, then you would just say, like 8 to 10 feet, and then you could decide if it's easy terrain or whatever kind of game you're playing, because all we're doing is playing games. All right, so let's drop a rock, and then I'll show you how you can change where what do we got? Ooh, we got some fall trees. I don't think it's fall right now though. So let's not do that. Oh, this looks like maybe what he did. Look at this thing. Top 10 by 10. Holy cow, this is a big ass tree. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is like a giant among trees here, kind of like Thaddeus among men. Man, that's covering up the whole thing. Let's pop it into the map layer. You see how I could just bring it right off the side and we don't have to worry about it, and it just looks legit. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Circle of flowers. Did you see some flowers in here? We can add some flowers if we want to. All right, so there we got that side done. Let's move over to this side. All right, so this is a cool one because now we got to finish off. This abutment or this raised promontory here can't just like end there. So now we got to find a raised area to finish it off. All right, let's go. The path. Here we go, cliffs. All right, so we can make these cliffs whatever we want them to be, and then we can change the size of the cliffs later too. But we also have this stream here, which is pretty weird. So I think we can't just have a promontory or this area just like right on top of that. So let's get something that we can kind of fairly quickly edge the size of this. All right, so this is a 5 by 5, it says. So if I pop that on right there, it's in the stream. So that doesn't make any sense. Don't cross the streams, as we learned from Ghostbusters. But I can turn it, hold down my handy dandy Alt key, and put it right there. And now we can even leave it there if we want to, because we can say that this is like a way to get up there if we want. Ooh, I should change. So you can even see my arrow when I was pointing. So I can just change the color of my arrow. I think white will look good here. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that. So you can just make it like that. So if we wanted to, and we wanted to make it a little dirty here, we could probably just find one of these dirt paths and just kind of put it, it says an end, thick end. Ooh, let's put the thick end. Crooked. This looks good. Let's take this, jump back to the cursor, and we could just kind of dirty this up a little bit. Whatever we think looks good. And there's nothing that says you can't change it later, because you can go back and do whatever you want. All right, so see how it's like always kind of not turning the way I want it to? So this is also a key thing to know. you can go into the advanced and flip this bad boy to be the other way, vertical or horizontal. So now it kind of has a path that's going that direction. We probably won't even be able to see that path, but let's just throw it onto the map layer anyway. We got anything else on the map layer that needs to go? Nope, we're still good. Tokens. Tokens in the jokins, boys. All right, so it looks like we need another tree or some plants. I think it's going to have to be a tree. We're going to put that circle of flowers in somewhere, and that'll be something that we can find. Oh, hey, Saggy Jello. Welcome to the chat. Here we are. We are making the campaign for Whitestone Tower, my game for virtual GaryCon. It's full right now, Saturday, 8 a.m., but I'm going to probably add another one. So if you feel like you got jinxed out of that and you want to be in it, then we'll make that happen. We'll add some. I got a pretty cool group I'm excited about. Not Tim DeShane, Rick Hull, Pete Spahn, Sean P. Kelly. That's 6. This is supposed to be 7 by 7. I usually try and stick with whatever he suggests, but it's not necessary. As you see, I mean, everything is pretty malleable. All right, see, it's not really working as well as we'd like. You can still see it looks like a really sharp. I think it's because this tree isn't thick enough. So let's just pop that tree off to the side and see if we have like a thicker tree. What do you guys think? You like any of these? This looks like a different kind of tree, though. I think we'll notice. All right, so you see how now I've accidentally clicked on the thing, but I want that to be there, so I must have forgot to put it on the map layer, so I'll just pop it down. Now we can go back to the map layer, toss it back on the token layer for training purposes, and say, oh shit, that's the tree still. But see, I can't really seem to get to the other one. So I can actually take the tree, and now I can put it to back, and now see how the rock part is on top. So when I click it, it's going to go to the rock. Oh, guess what? Control Z. Yeah, buddy. Now let's throw this back again, and then we'll throw it on the, switch to the tree again. Dang it, we don't want to go to the tree. So we're back on this. We actually want to toss this down onto the map layer, and now we're back on the tree. All right. See, this just doesn't look quite the same. That looks like some kind of ground cover. But and if we cover it up this much, it's like we wasted all of our time adding that path to get up there. So I don't think a tree is going to work, boys. I think we need like some plants. I think he has some plants or something on here that might be like moss. That's kind of like shrubbery or something that's kind of grown up there. Ooh, is this it? I don't know. It's kind of not translucent exactly, but it's almost kind of see-through. Let's see how this looks. Oh, wait a second. Look at our thing is gone, man. We lost it. What happened? So what happened is when we put it on the map layer, it got put behind what we were working with. So now all we have to do is go back to the map layer, click on our big area here, put it to the back, and we're back, boys. Just like that. Nothing is lost. Everything is saved. Nothing to worry about. All right, so I kind of think I'm sick of messing with this. So what we're going to do is we're just going to copy this over, and we're just going to make it work here. It's definitely a little thicker than what was down before, but I think we have the technology to make this happen here. Oh man, it just like snapped to grid. You see that? Guess what we use? Alt key. That's right. All right, now we still have like an area that the people can climb up. Now it doesn't have like the shadows and stuff on here, but that's okay. If you want to break it up a little more, we can just like toss some rocks up there, and that seems to help. So we got a pile of rocks up here now. Maybe you can make this pile of rocks into a cairn that they if the players get interested in it, you never quite know what players are going to get interested in. So if you just kind of make some interesting things around and create opportunities for shenanigans, this is what we can do. We can just toss these on here, and then if you're thinking it at the time, you need something to do, bam, now it's a cairn, and they'll be like, oh, I want to check that cairn out. All right, so we don't need the tree yet, so let's move it over. Now we have cleaned up the edge of the map. Doesn't look too bad. Doesn't look too bad. Let's. I don't know why someone would build all these bridges though. Kind of interesting. Makes you wonder, right? Let's finish off the water. Thaddeus took off. He talks about a local, straight up guy, and he takes off. I see how you are, T Dog. That's all right, man. I won't hold it against you. If anyone has any questions, go ahead and ask. I'll try and pay attention and keep on the chat, but I think this should be a corner. What do you guys think? Perfect. I think I like it. And now let's get rid of this. We'll just walk it right off the map. Yeah, I'm happy. So we've also like made an area here that could create something. If we did put like an enemy up here or something, they'd have to go around here and they'd be protected by the water. So there's lots of opportunities when you start messing with your maps. Lots of cool opportunities. Let's move this map over. I think what we're going to want to do is maybe we'll give it a little squiggle, but we kind of want to get the stream off of here because the water is going to take up a significant amount of the map, and we don't necessarily want that. So let's just kind of get this bad boy out of here. What is this, 4x8? All right, so I'm 4 wide. Let's go 5, 6, 7, 8. Uh-oh, it's not fitting. You guys know what to do. Motherfucking alt key. Bah, 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 bah. See, and we can adjust it a little if we need to. To me, it's like almost unbelievable how much it seems like it's always been there, and you can't even tell sometimes. Layer, map layer, boom. Now, maybe I didn't want to do it to the map layer yet, but I feel like we need to mix this up a little bit. It can't just be exactly the same thing all the time, right? Visually pleasing to give it a little more aesthetic. So 5x8. And I'm just going right by these numbers over here on what the size should be. Of course, since I tweaked the very first one, you're going to have to be tweaking them all. Whereas if you keep them exactly what he has, I mean, you don't have to take this long making a map. And I guarantee you, I don't always, because sometimes I will make a map just like this during play while, my players are piddle farting around doing something, and I'll be making a map, which they know sometimes, but sometimes they don't. So either one of these I could pick. I don't know which one I used before. And if you don't feel like it, you can actually take this, you can switch it, go to the advanced, flip it horizontally. You're still going to want to make it to be the size that you want it to be eventually, because this will make the picture, the artwork inside the picture look good, or better anyway. All right. So this is a weird predicament. So now I can't actually get up to the area, but I can actually just use this one. I don't have to make it. Maybe I can't. Oh, sons of bitches. That's all right though. I just made it the right size, and I alt keyed it up a little bit, and that's it. And if it's not perfect, it's not a big deal because as you've seen, we can cover it up with some other stuff. All right, so I think we got the rivers done. The river runs through it. For those who have those who came in late or recently, what we are trying to do is reproduce different sections of this map. This is going to be a handout, and we're reproducing this area over here because we're going to have a group of barbarians that have moved into the area. I made a Montana reference. All right, I don't know what you're talking about. Tell us, tell us. Does anyone have any questions so far, or anything that you would like to see more about, or uh, have things I could add that I didn't add? Let me know. Otherwise, I think what we need here is we have a path leading up to this wood. It looks like it's got a canopy of trees going across it, which is kind of a cool place for these barbarians to have placed their little village or stronghold or whatever we want to call it. So I'm also using the book to this book. It's in an adventure framework. Where am I at here? Oh, it's too slow. There we go. I don't know. Anyway, here's the dang book that I'm using, and I have a hardcover of the map right in here. Pretty cool. Same map. I just took it out of the PDF, and so let's see. What do we need in this in the Gray Star tribe? It's a good question. It looks like there's not a whole lot here. It's just a few paragraphs. Crossing the bridge is safe. Okay, the bridge is very old, mostly termite-ridden timber, but patched in critical locations by these human followers. The access point involves a 30-foot rotting bridge spanning a 25-foot wide stream. All right, so we have failed miserably so far on this, guys, because this stream is only about 15 feet wide. But who cares? I mean, does it matter if the stream is 15 feet wide or 25 feet wide? I think not. So let's go back to this is for LFG, so there's probably you haven't seen it. Let's go back to our building here. I think they had a bridge. So one thing I have not gotten good at is they have a search function, and it's a much lamented search function, but there is a search function. And one of the problems with it, in my opinion, so I'm going to be real here, guys. I love Roll20. It's my favorite, but I'm going to be real with y'all and say it's not perfect, and that's legit. So now I want a wooden bridge. So first of all, I'm going to probably go into, do I want tokens, everything? Yeah, let's just go everything. Who cares? And I'm just going to type in this search thing and go wooden bridge. So what it's not going to, oh, see, it's gotten better. It's already showing, like these are my marketplace purchases. Oftentimes it does not show these. So they just made me a liar. Good job. Like that bridge looks awesome. Like if I could find this bridge that's right here, that would be a pretty cool bridge. It looks kind of like a pier that's sunken. And I bet you there's one somewhere, but that's not that. That doesn't look good. So let's see what else we got here. Oh, we can make one, but this is like a jungle bridge. I don't think that's what we want because we should be able to take, I think we should be able to take a, like a cart across this thing. All right, here's a wooden bridge, 4x8. So that's eight long. That's probably a little big. How about 4x6? Is it a thin bridge? Is it a one-person bridge? You know, what kind of bridge do you want? You may not have all of these opportunities, and if you have an open book, maybe you're going to want to. These are some other assets that are in other. Look at this one, MR bridge. That thing looks pretty badass. Or here's a Russ Hapke bridge. Or we can actually go out into the wide web and see if anyone had made a bridge. But I don't think any of these are going to work. So the story I heard, here's some background on Roll20. Uh, yeah, it's an overload of options, and the search still uses a Google portion from like 8 years ago or something, because they don't pay to keep a search within the application. So pretty interesting. But what we're going to do is we've got some options, people. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick a bridge. What do you guys think of standard 4? Anyone want to do it? Hey, old golden hen, welcome to the channel. Welcome to the chat. What do you guys think? I think this one's going to look good. Let's see what it looks like. But why would they have a bridge right here and then have another one up farther? I don't know. That's kind of a weird thing. That's something that you can think about, though. 2, 3, 4 by 6. All right. Looks like we're going to have to alt key this bad boy. I like it. Looks different from that stone one, though. Yeah, like Brasco says, it could be anything. And this is what I start with oftentimes, is a map, because a map is going to help give you ideas. That's what it does for me anyway. But I also have some cool things. Another cool thing that I can do in the assets. So what Mr. Picard has offered is some volatile damage tokens. So like I mentioned, we can take damage decals. So I can take damage decals out of this and make this thing look a little rougher. All right, some wooden floor damage. So how's this going to look on here? Oh my goodness. What do you guys think of that? Is that crazy or what? It looks good. I'm happy. Are you guys happy? We can just drop some more of these decals on here. See, I don't know if I like mixing these two that much. This one looks like you can almost see through the some gum. I think I like these, but I don't know if I like this one over here as much. So yeah, we'll just get rid of them. The nice little, oh my goodness, what's happening? Nice little delete key, thank you. This almost looks like we can line it up directly. So we don't even have to make it. I've been making things larger, but you haven't seen me make things smaller, which we can almost fit right into this. Yeah, yeah, I'm happy with this bridge now. So what we could do is we could see like if they have like a wood plank, because it says here that it's been patched in critical locations. So maybe we want to add, and it looks kind of clean still, is the only problem. So maybe I could find, I think there's like some wooden rubble or something we can add, or we can put some filth on here. Oh goodness. All right, this isn't big enough. I moved it on accident. All our hard work. Guess what? Control Z. Nice. So we do have a lot of things going on here. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit. And then I'm going to select these things that are here and move them to the map layer. See, I didn't catch this, and that's good, but I've caught all the rest, so it doesn't matter what I do now on the token layer, which is why I kind of work on both. I like finished stuff I like to toss on. I don't know. What do you guys think of that? Hey, Agonarch Artist, welcome to the stream. Man, 6 o'clock must be like a good time for people. People are like dropping in like flies on poo poo. All right, I don't know if I like the filth yet. I don't know. Maybe it's too dark. I don't know. I don't know if I like that yet. We'll think about it. What I was kind of looking for is like a couple pieces of wooden beam, uh, like some boards that they had put over top of it. I can't remember if they have that in this Vile Tiles decal or not. So there's some rubble, but that's not really going to work. It looks like someone took their defense and threw it on there. These are pieces of wood. So I don't see exactly what I'm looking for here. But I do see some singular pieces of wood. So if I wanted to, I could just throw it on here. Like over top of this hole. Make it a hair longer. Because how much would these barbarians really know to do, right? I mean, nothing against barbarians, but come on, guys. And I can just interact with it to make it into a patch. So that one looks, they kind of look so similar though, and that looks weird. So I'm going to break it up. I will just flip that one a little bit. Maybe take one of the other ones. All right, so now you can see it kind of looks like it's patched up, which, maybe that's cool, maybe that's not. It's up to you. Uh, all right, I think I'm happy. You guys seem to like the filth. We'll keep it for now. Let's toss this down into the map layer. All right, we've added our bridge. So we're changing the map some already just because of the way it works, and that's okay. It doesn't have to. I can get rid of the handout if I want to. It's not going to matter. And if we want to add something else, we can certainly do that. But all we really wanted was an encounter area for our barbarians. So maybe we need. There's like a dirt path and the stone paths there. I think we need like a plateau or something for these guys to be camped in the lee of. If we look at the map, which we can still use for inspiration, right? So we're kind of just emulating this area here. We can add this butte here that they're going to be camped along, and then we can put that there. Then we'll put a road or a dirt path coming up, and then some trees that the players can use to sneak up if they want to, or they can come down the road, or if they try to cross the bridge, there's obviously going to be some barbarians there hanging out and expecting some sort of toll because they have put it upon themselves to be the protectors of this tower that we're eventually going to get to, the Whitestone Tower. So what's next? What should we work on next? A road? Uh, yeah, maybe we'll work on a road. This obviously takes some time, and you can lose yourself in it significantly. So I got some dirt paths down here we could use. Is this where I got the bridge from? I don't know. But we kind of want them to look like these paths down here, or They don't have to though, because sometimes they can look different, and that can be part of the story. You know, it's there's a lot of paths here for as small as this map is. So these guys are moving around this area a lot. That they've worn down the area. So I don't know why that is, but I'm sure someone will tell us at some point. I think we kind of want a thicker path here. So I'm just going to see like what's the biggest path they got, because I'm lazy. Look, we can do this one. This thing is huge. I don't know if it needs to be that long though. We got some complex 1 and 2. Look at that. We got a log here. We could put some logs around. Oh yeah, I was going to make a butte up here. All right, so let's make a cliff. I've done quite a few of these with different campaigns. Like if you've seen the Canyon of Doors. So I made the whole Canyon of Doors with these pieces like this. So if we want, we can actually affect this some, like thin it out like this if we want to. Uh, and that gives us an effect. I'm not sure what effect it almost makes it seem steeper, kind of. Not necessarily taller, but steeper if we thin it out. Or we can kind of fatten it, and then it makes this rock ledge more, I don't know, turgid or something. Hey, Gaming and BS, buddy. Welcome, man. So today we are starting. You shouldn't look at this too much because you're actually going to see this when you play. We're writing in the. This is a map that we're going to use for Whitestone Tower, the game you're playing in, that you signed up to play in. I was sharing it and trying to show some people how I actually make the maps. So what I'm doing now is we're gonna make kind of this butte that these dudes are camping out in. So maybe we'll just take it right off the map, and then I'm just gonna be lazy here. Make another one. So I can touch it right here if I want to. I can actually just kind of override them a little bit. Whatever you think you like the look of the best, because you can't even tell. You can see that the shadows are off, but personally, I don't worry about that too much. And so these guys obviously don't climb up here because there's not an easy path unless we make one, right? We can make an easy path if we want to get up here, even though it hasn't worked the way we've done it so far. But, oh dang, I moved it. Guess what? Control Z. Yeah, that's right. So we'll pop this down into the map layer. All right, so now we can, this is cool. We can make like a extra area on here. And see how it immediately makes it seem higher? It's just cool the way these things work. So that kind of shows that there's like a higher area up there. Yeah, this is all purchased content from Gabriel Picard. You can do stuff with non-purchase content, but I love the way his looks. So these ones down here are like some free assets that I got. Mostly these are mostly tokens, but I do think no more tokens. And I got these. I think when I joined from Tabletop Forge. So yeah, a bunch of tokens. I don't personally like tokens like this because it's too easy for them to get non-conformist. I guess that sounds bad, maybe, but that's just the way I like it. But yeah, you can use these down here. Like I made I think I made some with these, but they're nothing compared to like some of the other stuff you can find on the marketplace. These are awesome and they're beautiful. Yeah, well, and that's the thing, old golden hen. You can decide. You can decide what the height is, and you can just do it at the time, or you can do it during play if it fits into something that you're looking for, Or like sometimes the players will be like, "Oh, can I get up here? Is this far enough for me to stab with my spear?" And if you want it to be, then it is. If you don't, then you'd say, "Oh no, it's this is a steeper one than that." But most likely, I would probably try to keep most of these relatively conform. 5 to 8 feet seems to work really well in my games. Um, so I don't know, but it looks like I could use a dirt trail on here. We could make a path on this is basically what I'm saying. So if I wanted to break this up and make it so you could get up there without having to climb, I might just be able to use this. I don't know. It depends on how easy it is to see through it. Okay, but that looks weird. How would it possibly be like that? But I can just copy and paste this a lot. And now it looks like there's a path up there. Pretty crazy, eh? Let's pop it into the map layer. All right, so yeah, so this looks pretty cool. There's a nice little area. Some people can get up there. It's still pretty barren. It's pretty barren here, but we should probably make a path to. Paths aren't that exciting really, but we should probably make one. And you can do some dirt sections here. There's a lot of options. This is a pretty good one for making different areas like this for sure. What the heck? This is almost too much. I'm almost on overload here as far as this dang path goes right now. Let's just find something easy. This looks easy. I don't know what offset means either. Maybe somebody does. All right, this looks good. Let's see how big this thing is. So this looks a little small for our for what we got going on here. Who's going to go up a path like this to get on that? No, that doesn't make sense. So let's just see what happens if we make it bigger. And of course, we can just do that. So now we got a path going straight there. So this path is obviously used a little more. And I mean, in all honesty, how good does it really need to be? Obviously, the Hobbs and Friends channel, it needs to be fantastic because, like, it's almost like I'm getting paid to do this, right? But if it's just your home game or something and you're just trying to make something look good, it doesn't matter. Spend your time on something else. But if you want it to look sweet, then spend your time on that. For me, it's almost like therapy, really. All right, look at this thing. This thing is coming together. And how much difference is there from this compared to this area up here? Not a lot. No one's going to notice. We still got some work to do here to block off this section where I join the two maps together. But where are you talking about, old golden hen? Did I already do it? I feel like I already did it. I think Saggy Jello just pulled out the actually offset means. I'm just kidding, Saggy. Uh, yeah, no reason to say you're sorry. I really appreciate you guys being in here. This is awesome. I can't believe how many people are in here watching me make this map right now. All right, so and I'm recording it and I'll put it up on the YouTube later. So we want to grab all this stuff and throw it in the map layer. So I went way far out here because I don't want to grab something on accident and move it. Yes, I'll be able to fix it with Control Z, but it's a lot easier. See, I didn't even get this yet. Looks like this isn't yet either. But occasionally I like to go. So these are going to be token sizes. So you can see the 5 foot a square is what it's going to be. And we can make it bigger if we wanted to, and if we feel like it later, we can. But I don't know, guys. This thing is flipping 245 feet. That's far enough, especially if we have enough woods in here that it's going to break up line of sight, so it's going to be more difficult to fire arrows or something. We got enough. So let's see. Let's make a village. I think I have a village builder down here. So we got some tents. These guys are barbarians. How long have they been here? Not that long because the creature hasn't been there that long. So we got some tents in here we could throw in. We could just do some bedrolls and some campfires. So we got some different circular top like tents, some fur beds. I don't really think we'll need to like show the insides of the tent very much. Uh, because I think if what are they going to do? They're going to probably talk to these guys or they're going to fight these guys. So what do you think you're going to need? Like I don't know. To me, I think we just need enough tents to kind of show the effect that we are that these guys have been here for a while. They they have a no. I don't think they're going to fight in the tents, but you could do that if you wanted. But I mean, if they are going to talk, how long is it going to take in game? A half hour, an hour? Does it really need to have that much detail? I just like looking at the map. I don't necessarily want to build the inside of a tent for, 5 tokens to be sitting there while all we're doing is having exposition. I would rather throw up another picture of the inside of the tent. I would just rather have like a handout to say, oh, this is what the inside of the tent looks like while we're talking, as opposed to trying to place each and every little individual uh, here's a bedroll, here's something, here's this. I usually just try to do like a broad stream. You don't like handouts? I'm not actually physically giving you a handout. It's just a handout on Roll20. So it's in the handout section. I show it once. I show it to the players. Oh, it's not really visible to the players yet. So I show it once to the players, and then they can choose if they leave it out, open or shut. And then anytime they want to look at it, they just look at it again. So and besides, I don't make my maps for the lower 5% gaming and BS. So like, you might be the lower 5%, but some other people, I make it for them. People don't take me too seriously. I'm only joking. Uh, no, gaming and BS is awesome. I love gaming and BS. I love gaming and BSing. I'm a big fan of all those things. All right, so we can say there's a harem there. Uh, but I'm not sure that's the type of game that I want to promote. So, uh, hey, Maltworm, welcome to the stream. Welcome to the chat. Uh, yeah, so what we're deciding here is what we want. What's the broad strokes that we want to portray to show that our group of dudes, our barbarians, are here? And we're gonna have to decide what we want the barbarians to look like. Sometimes I'll do a few different tokens and then sprinkle them around. Sometimes I'll do a different token for everything. Sometimes it'll just be one token, depending on. I think he's already a subscriber. Not he's a subscriber and a follower, so in my opinion, he's earned it. He's earned it, Saggy Soggy. We still need our flowers too. Maybe we should look for some flowers, Thaddeus. Let's have some continuity to this goddamn stream. So yeah, let's see. Ring of flowers. All right, these are actual rings. That's not what we're looking for. Oh, there's some flowers, but that doesn't look good. All right, this failed us, and it happens, guys. Sometimes it happens. But you can take any image and make it into a token, so it'd be way easier with like transparencies or whatever. Wouldn't it be nice if we had some Brasco emotes that you guys could be dropping off here and blasting them out? I think they're on their way, people. I promise. Brasco's never let me down. So we're looking for flowers. Does anyone see anything in here that looks like it might have a ring of flowers in it? I got the bush. Tree maze. What the flip? Holy cow. I feel like this stream has been like 30% joking around, 10% actually working on the map, and 60% of me going through all my assets trying to find what I'm looking for. We should have some music going. I don't know what kind of music it would be, though. Man, Forest Mapper you think would have flowers. Maybe we should call up Gabriel Picard and say, brother, where's all the flowers? We need some flowers up in this thing. We got some rocks. We got ponds. Geez, guys, I don't know. This isn't looking good. It's not looking good for the circle of flowers. But in hindsight, the circle of flowers really tell us what we're looking for when the main aspect of this particular map is this encounter with these barbarians. I think not. But I am kind of disappointed that I haven't found any flowers for you, bro. Oh well, I'm about to give up though on the flowers. All right, back to the. I thought I had like a village builder in here somewhere, but I'm not seeing it. See, I got hamlets and outskirts, but city walls, small towns, maybe Warpack. So we got some barricades. Hey, old golden hun, I like you, old golden hun. How you doing? I'm doing good. How are you doing? I do use these palisades a lot. I don't know if these guys been here long enough for palisades. I don't know. It's only a 4-hour session, so to have a mass combat with all these barbarians, but if that's what they choose to do, then that's what they choose to do, I guess. We're not. Who are we to take away agency from the players? Nobody. That's what I say. We're not going to do that in our little game here. So heck with it. I guess we're back to the tents. Gosh, I feel like I have some thatch. All right, let's hear it from you guys. The only thing I want to hear from you all right now is cheers and what should these guys look like? Should they have little thatch roofs that could do it? Should they actually be tents? Should they just be bedrolls laying around with an occasional campfire? What? Oh, hey, we accidentally put that on the. That's not supposed to be on there yet. I'm getting rid of this tree. Better not what gaming and BS. You got to talk to me, man. I guess we're back at the tents. Nobody's going to answer. I think there might have been some hide tents in here, old golden hen. I mean, do any of these look like hide tents to you? I guess it does say awning right on it. Hey, do these look like hide tents? I know it says awning, but these kind of look like hide tents. No, you don't like those? You like circular tents? How about circus tent? Square tent? These are like patched tents. These are like lean-tos. This one? Oh, that doesn't look bad, does it? These kind of look like mostly all they're going to do is sleep and fornicate in these tents. So we can look at see how you can see this here. I put it on the map layer. So this is bad news. We don't want to be tossing a bunch of icons and um, the things that we're building on the map layer because it's too easy to grab something and jack it up. So we're going to toss this back on the token layer. Switch over to the token layer real quick. All right, so that's what the tent looks like. The hide tent. We'll drop a campfire on here. Damn, this looks like a bonfire. Look at this thing. It's like a big fire. Or it's just like a little tiny fire. I don't know. Big fire, tiny fire. Let's go somewhere in the middle. Because we're still pretty far out. Most of the time, you're gonna be about this range, I would say, in a game. That's that. So what we could do is we could signify Boss Hogg's tent, and then maybe the rest of them are lean-tos to signify the lesser folks. Ooh, that doesn't look right. All right, now this seems like it should be like beaten down a little more in this. Oh, no, I'm not centering in the square, man. I'm off the grid. This is off the grid gaming in BS. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this look a little more kind of beat up. Like the ground should be more beaten down here. So we should be able to find, like we can use one of those large path things. Here we go. The battle maps. Here's some sweet buildings too. We could add some ruins later. That'd be cool. I like building ruins. Those are fun too. When we do the tower, my next one of the next streams will probably be a tower or something. So right now, what I'm doing is we're gonna put we're gonna just beat up this ground a little bit. Oh, that's the wrong thing. Get out of here. What are you doing? So I'm holding the Alt key to not snap it to grid, and now I'm just going. I'm right clicking on the thing, and then I'm just choosing what I want to do here. So front is just going to show us in this layer. It's going to bring it to the front or the back. I mean, probably you guys know most of this stuff from GIMP or Photoshop or whatever. You can drop into the add. I mean, I don't do any of this set dimensions. I do flip them these ways, and you can do this is drawing because then the token information, like sometimes if it's the wrong size, it's hard to get this control here because the token information pops up on it. So instead of it being a token, now if you make it a drawing, those things won't show up anymore. So it's a lot easier to shift this around. So I'm going to put it back, let that go. All right, and so we can just do some path ends, maybe like over to, no, we don't want that. Get out of here. We can just do this. We got to get a little up close and see what's going on here. Hey, where you at, little guy? There you are. So you can see that the granularity is a little different in these. So we have some play. Because when we get it down there, it's not going to matter. Very rarely are you going to look this close anyhow. But, you know, if it's only good enough to you, then it's not good enough for Hobbs and Friends, right? It's not good enough for the Hobbs goblins. So now I'm just going to move these to the back of this layer so they're underneath the tents. So like if we wanted to, we could dirty these up with some vile tiles. Like we could add, you know, some filth along these tents to make them a little different. So let's find those. That'll look nice. Because I really picture these guys, they're barbarians. I mean, I know that their personal hygiene is pretty high because they're not savages, they're just barbarians. So, and another thing to consider is how do you want your game to run? Do you want people to be thinking in shades of gray? Are these just something here for the characters to kill, is it something for them to interact with? And a lot of times, I don't necessarily want to decide that up front. But if you did want to, then you could like when you first introduced the barbarians and whatever they were doing, you could describe their actions to change with, you know, that shades of gray or where they fit in on that scale to give the players an indication, or you know, create kind of a feeling from those players of what are they going to think. I mean, like if they're obviously like, you see a human laying there who's chopped up and they're like cooking him and eating him, all right, well, this is gross, we don't want to do that. If there's a bunch of kids around and women and children, that makes it more they seem less of a someone to hang out with and, you know, drink fermented goat's milk, and more someone that you want to do something else to or whatever. So you can add that in now in the map, or there's no way there's 50, there's only 2. So now I'm going to jump back to oh dang it, it's in front of it. So we're going to jump up here to the damage decals. Just the softest little touch can make a pretty big difference in what something looks like. And the people who watched me do the bridge could see how fast and easy it was to do that. So I think there's like just some kind of damage. Yeah, we don't want like wood wall damage on here. That's a little weird, right? So probably filth. I thought there might be like, we might be able to do something with this stone damage, but I don't know. Oh, what the? That was confusing. See, this is what I'm talking about. It's kind of hard to get to this controller because these are in the way. So you can just take this, advanced is drawing, and now they're not going to be in your way anymore. Yeah, I don't think that really works for me. Let's go to the filth. Take us to the filth, Vanna. Here's some filth. No reason to be sorry, Brasco. Dinner is important. Oh, see, I like how that works because the line from the tent is really like showing through this filth and making it seem like it's creased over there. Where when the damage decal from the stone that I put on there definitely didn't look that way. So I like that right there. That looks good. I think. Hey, what's up, Mort75? Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the channel. We're making some maps, buddy. We can maybe drop some lighter filth on these lean-tos. Alt key. Whoa, look at the size of this one. Look at the filth on that thing. Holy cow. So like I said, you can change it to a drawing and then you can get here. So I thought if I just lined this up with the front of this, I could really make a dirty tent, y'all. Look at that dirty thing. Woo-wee. Woo-wee. That's a dirty tent right there. It looks like I'm kind of off, though. It's still too much. Look at that. Holy cow. It looks like these guys have been smoking doobies all day in that thing. What the? Holy cow. A lot of smoke on there. All right, now we got some dirty barbarians. Look at these things. This thing doesn't almost look dirty enough now. These guys are like, these look like they've been through some smoke damage. The kids' tent. Oh, dang, that's a good one. I don't care what you say. That's a good one right there. We'll put a dirty thing up here on this guy. All right. Oh, dang. So it looks like he just, like one side of this got dirty, but not the other one. So I'm just going to put it kind of in this corner here. I don't know if that's going to work, boys. Oh, see, it happened. Control Z. Control Z is your friend. It saves almost everything when you're making a map in Roll20. Yeah, I don't think that looks good. But maybe I could do it this way. No, that's going to be dumb too. Oh, sometimes there's failures. You never know. You got to keep trying things because you never know what's going to work, people. Nothing new was ever made without a mistake. That's my belief anyway. You ain't got to have it. That's the cool thing about beliefs. All right. Let's zoom back a little bit. Yeah, what do you guys think? Yeah? This little village done? Let's pop it into... Whoa, what happened? We popped her into the map later, it disappeared. But do not fret. Yeah, buddy. There you go. See how this... Now look at... Since I put that to the back, and this tree I added, it's like above the tent. Is that badass or what? Yes, yes, yes it is. All right. So now what do we need to do? So we got some stuff. I think this still looks a little barren. I think we were wanting to break up the shooting lines a little bit and add some trees. So you can use that one again if you want. You can just copy and paste it. And this is a cool thing. I think this will look cool. Shadows over the river. But we don't want it to look exactly like that one. So we can just kind of twist her around a little bit. Maybe we need some clumps of some big old trees over here. The only thing that happens when you turn is the shading isn't exactly right. But I'll tell you what, I've never had a single player say, hey, your light shade is facing the wrong direction. You guys will say that now, probably. But horses. Do I want the? I don't really want. All right, so I don't want to give anything to these barbarians that the players are going to take later that I don't want them to have without earning it. So horses might be one of those things. But maybe we'll add horses. I don't know. That's something we can choose later. I don't know for sure. Verdict's still out on the horses, boys. But we need some stuff, more stuff, more stuff. Maybe some bushes. We got some plants here. So this, where are we at? This is in, I think I'm in this, this has like a lot of different things, but I know down here in the build of forest, I also have a forest mapper. Yeah. And so this thing has some cool stuff in it. Like he has grouped some things together already. So you saw those were all individuals, but like I can take these big bunches and not have to make them myself. So you have some big bushes here. Well, look at the bush on that thing, huh? Would you? Look at these bush. There's bush everywhere, boys. So these are actual caves. That looks pretty cool. I don't know if I've ever used these in a map. I thought they were just rocks. Huh? You never know what you're going to see, eh? I don't know if you guys ever watch Peaky Blinders, but I find myself talking like the Peaky Blinders people sometimes. Yes, Mort75. This is for my virtual Gary Con game. So I can't see how big these are supposed to be, so I can just kind of pull it over a little bit if I want. You can also shut this if you want more area, but it kind of defeats the purpose if all I'm doing is using the art that someone else created and I paid for with my Bezo bucks. So we got some stone outcroppings, some trees. I was looking, there's like some clumps, but I guess there's not any in this. So in the build a jungle, they have some clumps where they have a whole bunch of trees, but that makes some sense because usually there's a lot more forage and ground cover and such on, yeah, that's right, Birmingham. I'm a big fan of that show. Let's add some bushes in here. Isn't that weird how it landed right there? Weird. So the bushes shan't be that big. All right. We still need to fix this right here, I think. That's bothering me. Oh, you know why it's bothering us? Because we're in the goddamn map layer. We got to be in this layer. It's like the shadows aren't the same because of that tree. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this tree and then I'm going to paste it. But I don't want to cover up the cairn because we want the players to be able to see that cairn maybe. So we'll just do this. There, that breaks up that line some more. And then our cairn is still there. Throw some of this stuff on the map layer so I stop looking at it. But see, now I put this bush on the map layer and that was a mistake, but not a grave mistake, y'all. Just a mistake. Yeah, I got razor blades in my cat. All right, so we need some bushes. Like I gotta say, I really like the jungle, the jungle one because I love these clumps that I can add quickly because it's way faster because you do a bunch of clumps in a row. But we can make our own clumps. So we're gonna just put a few different ones out here. So just like we made the damage and then fixed it on the bridge, we can just throw a bunch of different plants down here, put them kind of on top of each other. Whichever ones we think are taller, obviously, we're going to have the other ones go to the back. Oh, look at the size of that plant. All right, so now I have like this clump here. I'm just going to copy it like that, and then I can throw the whole thing over here. And then I can choose them all, turn them a little bit, and then that breaks it up and they don't necessarily look the same. What the fuck is that? You can break it up by spreading it out a little bit if you want. See, there's some ferns and stuff over there. There's a lot more rocks down here, though. This is a rocky area down here. So we better add some rocks up here. We don't want to. Ooh, that's a cool looking plant. We done this plant yet? Let's put it under. Let's put this plant under the tree. So now we're cooking with fire, people. Pretty sweet, eh? Pretty sweet. Looks like there's not a big tree over here. We probably need a big tree. But we also need rocks. I'm torn, guys. We need rocks. We need trees. Rocks, trees, rocks, trees, rocks, trees. I don't know. Let's rock out for a minute. This looks like a tall rock. Look at this huge shadow on here. So this gives me like it's a thinner, tall one, like a Montana thing or something. So let's add one of these. I like these things. This looks cool. Maybe we'll put this way up here. See if anyone spots it. They'll be like, oh, I want to go check that thing out. Yeah, yeah, I'm happy with that. That looks cool. You think we should sneak this smiley face in there to see if anyone notices it? You want a tree growing out of some rocks? All right, we can do that. So these are like big ass rocks. This is like Montana or Utah or something. Dude, was there a there was a earthquake in Utah today, right? That seems crazy to me for some reason. Obviously, there were a bunch of earthquakes there at one point, but is it like a main place for earthquakes? I don't really know. All right. So, Jesus, I've been doing this for a while. We got 13 people here though. Must be like a it's like a party in the chat room. Or what do you guys think? How we looking? Still kind of barren, maybe. Maybe we need more rocks. Rocks are good for breaking it up. But I don't know, is this really a place for giganto rocks? I guess there are some over here. There's one over here that he put in there, so screw it. Let's put some dang rocks in here. So look at the size of this boy. We'll drop it right here at the crossroads. So on a map that I made, I put a marker in a in a one of the LFG sessions in my Midlands West Marches campaign, and all I did was I just put it in there and said that it was old, and it was just like really a marker that at one point probably told people where they were supposed to go. But this one player just got so obsessed with this big marker. He's like, oh, and we probably spent at least an hour of game time, searching around and trying to make checks and figure out and it was just a marker. But even after the campaign, after that session, they had gone and done some other stuff and did all this crazy stuff. And he was like, "Oh, I want to go back and see what that marker was. I got to find out what that rock was all about." So you can use these big rocks, and you never know what players are going to latch onto. And there's nothing that stops you from making that into something else. Maybe they tear away the grass, or maybe it's a big monolith that there's a bunch lower, and they didn't even see it the first time, but then they hear people use spades to dig around them, and then when the ground shifted or over the centuries it has increased, then now you can find uh, some runes down there that actually tells you something or teaches you something. Reward your players for what they're interested in. Don't just force them down the path that you have in mind, unless your main name is Sean P. Kelly. Fortunately for us, no one named Sean P. Kelly is here, but if they were, I think they would tell you that games are all about railroads, and all you should do is jump on and let Sean P. Kelly or the GM be the engineer. Woo, woot. Here, how's that? There was a diatribe that you guys all got into. All right, no one's talked anything, and 25 people left the chat room. Oh goodness, I am enjoying myself immensely. Let's put another one of these boulders over here. Whoa, where'd it go? See, Sean's going to be like, I'm not looking at anything. I saw him make this map, so I know all the secrets, peoples. In like groupings are not just for plants, people. They're also for rocks. Because you can shift the sizes of these rocks. And shorten up some time for yourself. Just shift the configuration slightly and no one's going to notice. I've been doing this for a pretty long time, and either my players are very unobservant, or it's all gone political. I'd look away from a second and the chat explodes. Shazam. Oh, that's funny. It wasn't really political. I was making fun of one of the guys in the chat room. I mean, they said I wasn't intending it to be political, but maybe we need some groupings of rocks laying around. So that seems like a lot of rocks by itself. But what if we make them smaller and paste them like this? It looks like a giant rabbit went over there and pooped, doesn't it? Maybe we need a larger rock amongst them. Look at this rock group. Gabriel Picard made rock groups. This one looks like Jethro Tull. All right. They could if you wanted to. It probably depends on what kind of game you're playing. Mostly all I'm doing is making a beautiful map, or that's what I'm attempting to do, I guess. I don't know if I've succeeded or not, but a lot of times you'll know when you're done. You either get sick of it or you you keep going, or you just whatever. It's up to you. I think we'll make a row of trees behind the camp on this other area, so it lets them see the bridge. So why am I going in the P's? I'm pretty sure these are alphabetical order. All right, so let's make a line of trees. See, like these thick trees, they almost seem too thick to me. So what I'm thinking, I kind of like these thinner ones because we can see more through them. But maybe we should make a mix. So let's make a line of trees, y'all. Come on, get off of there. And I think it's cool that it lets you just put the part of the image. All right, so now that looks very different. Like it's a pretty hefty wood there, when just seconds ago there was almost nothing there. But gosh, these guys need some logs or some rocks around. What are they going to sit on around their fire if they don't find a rock? Jeez, come on, guys. We need some rocks around the fire. Yeah, that looks dumb. Just one. Sometimes less is more. All you guys get is the sultry tones of Jason Hobbs. I can't be anybody else. I try. I do, but I can't. All right, what do you guys think? Are we done? What do you think about this map? Let's toss all this stuff onto the map layer. Is it back street or back door? I don't really know. I don't really know, guys. Anyhow, if you enjoyed this, follow up. If you want to support Mr. Hobbs's Gamerhood, then it would be awesome. You could subscribe, um, or not, or you can go to my Patreon, Patreon/OSRN Hobbs. Support that way. Listen to my podcasts. Look down. You can check out links to the Audio Dungeon Discord and all those places. I think next time maybe we'll get into some dynamic lighting, or because I know that's Saggy's favorite. I could show you quick what it would look like. So, okay, what I'm going to do is let's. This is an encore. Let's toss in some dynamic lighting. All right, so we could set this up to be night or day, depending on how we set up the lighting. So, what can't you see through in here? And remember, anything that you put behind the dynamic lighting is not going to be, they won't be able to see it. So it's going to hinder the view of the map. So we don't really need to dynamic lighting these tents, right? You can't really see past the tents, but you can kind of see around them. So it's kind of a light wood. So why don't we do some dynamic lighting around like maybe where the actual trunks of the trees are. And so depending on where you are, then it's going to block your vision. So the way I do that is I'm in the dynamic lighting area now in the layer. And so we're going to draw shapes. So I want to draw a shape, and now what it's going to do is show me what the color of the line is. So when I do these, I like them to be bright on the dynamic layer, on the dynamic lighting layer. I don't like it to be confusing. So, and then I don't want it to be transparent. I don't want the middle to be empty. I want to know what sort of view is being blocked. So now I have this, and so if I make a shape here, it's going to be square. Well, there's nothing that's going to be square on this map for dynamic lighting. But fortunately, if you hold down one of these buttons, it's not that button. Maybe it's the alt button. Yep, alt button. Look at that, a circle. Guys, what shape is a tree trunk? A circle. I'll help you out for those who didn't know. So we can just make a tree trunk in the middle of this, and now that is not going to show up on the. You're not going to see that anywhere but in the dynamic lighting layer. So what I'm doing is I'm just kind of going to the trees, and I'm just going to make these little circles where that are kind of showing where the trunk is. Now there's other ways to do this. You could also do, maybe you don't want to do a circle, maybe you could also do lines, like you could make a cross line like that, and that's going to do the same thing. But in my experience, I found doing the circles is pretty easy, and it works. And I mean, over here, who cares where the trunks are? We don't have to get too particular about this. We don't know what we're going to do down here. We may end up having some kind of something happen down here, so we're going to do the same down here that we were doing up there. So I think that pretty much covers the trees. Okay, so what does this look like? All right, so let's go back to the object. So none of that stuff is visible. We don't even have dynamic lighting turned on. So we're going to go back into here down at the bottom. We're going to turn on dynamic lighting. So what we want to do is, this is daylight. If it was nighttime, we could turn the campfire into a light source. I also have done it different ways. And if we're going to just do daylight, we can just do global illumination here. And then we're going to want to enforce line of sight. And then we're going to want to, we could restrict movement, but there's nothing on here we want to restrict. Like if we were in a dungeon, we don't want people walking through the walls. That's what we would use restrict movement for. But we don't want to do that. So, and now I can hit OK. Okay, so now dynamic lighting is on. But how do we know? So fortunately, we got a rogue down here. And the rogue is bebopping into the area here. And if we want to see what it looks like from the rogue's point of view, we should be able to control L. Oh boy, I can't see a damn thing, can you? So that means something's jacked up. We have jacked something up. So what is it? He doesn't have sight. Remember how I said he has sight, and when I put him on the splash page early on, I had turned the has sight on, and that's what happens if you don't have the has sight on. So now if we control L, look at this. Now we can see, and so from his point of view, he can't see these black lines. And so that's what's going to break up the vision for him. See how it's moving when he moves? Is this worth anything at this point? I don't know. But it's something you can add to your own repertoire if you want to. And so like if there were more than one token, so right now we're seeing from this player's point of view. Well, if we want to see from this player's point of view, I just select this token, Control L, and it changes. So that's what's going on there. All right, so if I didn't want it to be global illumination and we wanted to set this for nighttime, all right, so I would go back up here, take off global illumination. All right, and now everything kind of grays out for the GM. All right, and so our fire is on the map. So I'm going to pick the fire, double click on it, and go into, but now if I made it into a drawing, I probably wouldn't be able to do this because it's not a token anymore. But since I made it into a drawing, I can. So now I'm going to go to the advanced here, and now it doesn't need to have sight. It's not a token, but it does do all players see the light because we're going to create light for the players when they come through here. So how much room should a campfire give? If a regular torch is 30 feet, let's make this double, 60 feet. It's like there's two torches in there. But it's we want it to get dimmer as it goes. So the first one is the total light range. The second one is the start of the dim angle. So if we do a very low number, it's going to be dim very quickly. But if we do a high number close to the 60, then it's just going to dim on the edges. So if we put like 45, that's where the dim is going to start. And so now you can see, if you look in here close, the edge of the light where it is. So this is the GM view, so you can see the dynamic lighting in here. And now that light is going to create shadows on the trees that we put in here from the point of view of the light. And so if we go back to the object layer, and that's going to be there. Now if we go to the token again and see what it looks like for him, so you can see where it started to fade and get darker. Right here is past that, so there's only 15 feet in between where we did the dimmer. So maybe that doesn't seem like it accurately emulates what we're looking for. So let's go back into the map layer, click this token, get into this. So if we make this go out farther, 90 feet, and keep the dim at 45, now even more is going to be dimly lit from that fire, but that looks almost too much to me. So let's go back out here and see what it looks like for a player. Let's back it out. So we're seeing two players' views right now probably. That's why it's doing that. So if we put this dude in here, so it's showing like two different things. I'm not sure why. So one of them staying oh, I know why. Because one of them is the permanent view from the shadow created by the flames, and the other is what the player can't see past. Right? Because he's hidden behind that, so he can't see beyond that. That's why it's doing that. All right, and this is from his view. And so you can see pretty far around here. So like now if you wanted to show, I mean, there's all sorts of things you could do. Like if you wanted some phosphorescent moss in the stream at night, so we can just go back where we were and grab like one of these bushes or whatever. And you can do this at any, this isn't just outside. Like what's it called? Nimroot? Hey, Coolio777. Yes, I am. I'm making a map for my GaryCon, virtual GaryCon game called Whitestone Tower. This is one of the maps, and I've made it from scratch on this stream. It's been a total stream of just me making this map, but I started making the campaign in the beginning and then kind of focused in on this. Anyhow, what is it in Elder Scrolls? Nimroot. Like, doesn't Nimroot kind of look like a fern? So if we wanted some Nimroot in our game, we're in the token layer. I think Nimroot is going to be smaller. And this only shows up at midnight, but you're going to have to control that yourself. Anyhow, we'll shrink her way down. And then go into the settings. Nimroot's not going to be... GaryCon was canceled, but this is virtual GaryCon. So in its play, there's always been a virtual GaryCon, but this year, since GaryCon got canceled, they're really promoting virtual GaryCon more. So so this isn't going to go out very far. Let's give it a 10-footer, but it's going to start getting dim at 1 foot. So it's very quickly going to do that, and let's put it like near the bridge. That would be sweet. Oh, we don't want to do it by that bridge because most of our action is taking place or up here. In fact, we could maybe get rid of that other map if we wanted to, but who knows. So we're going to put this Nimrod down here. Put a couple of them. All right, so I've clicked off of, all I have to do is click off of that token. I forgot to put all players have sight. I knew I must have done something wrong. Once you're, use the Control L to see what the view is of, what the view is, then you can just click anywhere on the map and it'll automatically go back to GM view. So it's giving a faint light up there. You can't see it though. So what do you guys think of that? Pretty cool, huh? All right, looks like everyone's gotten sick of watching this. So I'm going to wrap it up the rest of the way, I guess. So there is a map there. I've shown you how to create a campaign, how to make a splash page, how to title it, and how to make a map and do handouts, put a character sheet, add tokens, copy things, whole lots of different things. In fact, I think that's almost too much. We should maybe make that even smaller, down to like 5 feet or something. But it's pretty cool looking. And you can do all sorts of things like that. You could actually just do a small piece that could look like flecks of gold in something, or whatever. You know, that's the cool thing about this. Oh shit. So anyhow, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I really had a blast. I really appreciate all the people who showed up. I think in the future, to make it better, it could be cooler if we were to make it so I could show you my screen and how I made tokens and stuff. Maybe that's something we'll do in the future. Send me an email, hobbs@hobbsandfriends.com, and let me know. Otherwise, I got to get ready for a game. I got another game in about a half hour. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to stop the recording.